Well, hey there. Welcome to the channel where you find love, laughs, and DIYs. Let me introduce myself. My name is Crafty Kathy, and I am tickle pink that you're here today. Hey, once you start watching this channel, you are part of our family, and I would hope that you would click that little red button and subscribe so that you don't miss any of my episodes. Today I have some lovely vintage spring French farmhouse decor that's going to go in my booth, and I think that you are absolutely going to love it. This is part 3 in my spring series, so let's get to it. DIY number 1. I got this at Goodwill for $2.99, which is a good price for a good sturdy basket like this. It's really pretty. You can tell it was probably some little boy's Easter basket. Now, I pulled off a piece of drop cloth, just regular old drop cloth. It's probably about a 8 by 6 maybe, and I'm totally guessing on that. So I was showing you here what you do is you can just make a slight rip in it with your scissors or a cut, and then you just rip it. And that's what gives it that beautiful rustic look on the outside where it's just kind of raggedy looking, and that's what's in style and that's what looks good. So I laid it across the front of my basket because I knew exactly what I wanted to do. I'm going to sublimate this beautiful picture with the birds on the front of the drop cloth, and then I'm going to put the drop cloth on the basket. Now, the little birdie picture is a 4 by 6, and I do have this in my Etsy shop if you want it. It comes to your house ready to be sublimated. All you have to do is use your Cricut press or a shirt press to get it to work. A regular household iron does not get hot enough for it to work. So this is how you sublimate. You lay down your picture face first, like I'm doing here, and then I take my heat-resistant tape, and you just put a couple pieces down, and you don't have to go crazy with it, just 1 or 2 little pieces, and it's just so it won't move around whenever you put your iron on the top. So I put my Cricut Easy Press on the top at 400 degrees for 60 seconds. And when you first look at a picture that is sublimated picture, it's not that bright. What makes it bright and colorful and brings out the colors is that heat. So when you actually do sublimate it, it's a lot brighter. It turned out beautiful. So I just put a little bit of glue on the top to get it in place where I want it, and then on all 4 corners, and we put it on the front of the basket. Now, I did mention that I do have an Etsy shop that has all my sublimated prints in it, and it's Kathy's Crafty Boutique. And I will leave that down in the description box in case you are interested. I've been selling a lot of sublimated prints lately, and they are just prints that are sublimated, ready to be put on the fabric or whatever you're going to put them on. They're normally an 8 by 10 size, but this one I just shrunk down to a 4 by 6. Y'all that have been around my channel for a while know I love my buttons. So I took 4 small dark buttons, and I'm going to put those 1 on each corner. I was going to do tacks, but I thought, you know what? I want to do buttons. I do want my strings to be kind of raggedy and hanging, but I want them all to be about the same size. So the few little long ones, I just clipped them off, gave them a quick little haircut so it would all look uniform and look really nice. And then I'm going to take my leftovers that I have from my drop cloth, and it's just strips, probably 1-inch strip, and you twist it and you roll it around. I'm making a little flower. Now you just twist it and just roll it on itself. I hope that makes sense. You can see what I'm doing here. And then you just put a little bead of glue and it holds it there. I hope that you can see what I'm doing well enough to understand, but it's very, very simple. And when you're finished with this, it makes a cute little flower. Of course, these are short because my little piece of fabric was short. So my flower is just going to be a small flower. But of course, the longer the piece of drop cloth you have, the bigger the flower. And these little rosettes are super cute. I don't think you can mess them up. They're so easy. Now, how cute is this flower, y'all? So I'm just going to put that on the top right side. Just a little bead of glue will hold it up there. And we're almost finished with DIY number 1 already, guys. So I took a whole bunch of pieces of fabric, and they're just long pieces of drop cloth. If I had to guess, I would say they were probably maybe 10 inches long each, and maybe just an inch wide. I really didn't even measure them. I just cut a little slit with my scissors and ripped them, and then I cut them in half. And then here I'm getting some ribbon that I got for 98 cents at Walmart. All I'm going to do is make a little raggedy bow, and I'm just making X's. That's all you do to make this bow. And I just put a whole bunch of different ribbon in there and just different stuff. I'm going to tie it with some jute, and then we have our own cute little raggedy daggedy bow. I don't remember what these bows are called, but they're just little raggedy bows. I mean, I don't know what else to call it. I'm going to put it right up in the center of my basket. And just look how cute these turn out. I think these bows are so sweet. But I felt like it still needed something. And you guys know I love my Totally Dazzled, so I'm going to stick this jewel right in the middle of my ribbons. Now, I love the Totally Dazzled. They're really cheap. You can get like 10 pieces for $2, and I love to embellish my stuff with them. And I'm going to leave their link in the description box. That way you guys can go and get you some Totally Dazzled jewels. There's all different kinds. Right now, I've got some spring ones coming out. But here is how my basket turned out, and I think it's precious. This is going to sell really fast in the booth. Actually, it may not even make it to the booth. And I just styled it with some Easter grass and some Spanish moss and some of my little Easter eggs and a little flower in there. Now we're going into DIY number 2. I have an oval frame that I got from a thrift store for 99 cents. It's actually from Olin Mills. And if you guys remember, their prints and frames used to be very expensive. Well, I got it at a thrift store for 99 cents. I started using Home Decor's Nantucket, and I thought, this is too dark for what I want. So I'm going to mix in Glacier, which is a light blue, also by Home Decor. And I mixed the color and got kind of a medium-ish blue. And this was perfectly fine with me because I didn't want a very light blue and I didn't want a dark blue. But I had in mind what I was going to do with this, and I knew that I needed a proper shade, and this gave me the shade that I wanted. So I gave this oval frame 2 full coats. I just want to stop for a minute and let you guys know how much I appreciate y'all. My channel has seen a big boom lately, and we have a lot of new subscribers. And so I just wanted to take this minute to say welcome, thank you, and I love you very much. So now we're going to take some of the Debbie's DIY wax. It's white wax, and we're just going to lighten up this dark blue color. Or it's not really dark, but for spring it's a little dark. So we're going to go with the Debbie's DIY wax. Different people do it in different ways. You pretty much just put it on, and I leave it on for just a few seconds, literally, or minutes. I mean, some people leave it on for an hour. That's what I'm saying. So it depends on the person. I leave it on for a few minutes because I'm always in a hurry, and then you just wipe it off, and it gives your frame some good protection. Plus, it lightens it up and just gives it that beautiful vintage vibe. So this is the back part of the frame, and what we're going to do is just trace it on this sheet music piece that I got from Hobby Lobby, and then we're just going to use our Elmer's school glue stick to make it stick on there. And if you watched the very end of my last video, I had just gotten in this rice paper, which is decoupage type paper. It's the same technique as when you put a napkin down on something. You decoupage it down with Mod Podge, except for that it's just a slightly different feel and there's not as many wrinkles. It's really easy to use. You just put down your Mod Podge and then you put down your piece that you want it on. Then you just very lightly go around the edges from the middle and go out, and that prevents wrinkles too. Next, I take my IOD stamps, and it's the typesetting stamps. They look like from a typewriter, and they have all large case and all lowercase. And I'm going to spell out the word spring. So what I'm going to do is just take, this is my DAS molding clay, but the very first thing I need to do is put a little bit of cornstarch over my letters, and that just helps it come off a little bit better whenever I want to get that mold off. What I'm going to do is get my mold and make a small ball and kind of roll it out like I'm rolling dough, and then I'm going to place it first off over the S, and then I'm going to roll it with my brayer, and it's going to make that S appear in there. And that cornstarch made it easier to come off. And then I just go through the whole process with the PRING to spell out the word spring. And so now that I have the word spring ready to go, what I'm going to do is use my Star Bond glue, and I'm going to glue that while it's still, can be moved around while it's still pliable. And we're going to put that on the side of our picture. And then you leave it alone overnight, and it's going to harden and freeze. And the reason why you put it on right away is because that way it will mold its shape to whatever shape that you're putting it on. So if you're putting it on something that's concave, it's going to mold to that shape and freeze that way. It's absolutely genius. So after it had time to set up, I just used the Glacier, which is the lighter of the two blue colors, and I very lightly went over all my words, because this is actually the first time that I've tried it this way, where you take your stamps and make a mold out of your stamps, and I wasn't too sure if I liked it. It was a little different for me, because you guys know me and know me enough to know that I am kind of a perfectionist when it comes to my stuff. If it's shaped weird or a little different, I will worry myself to death until I fix it the way that I want it. Like, I just go crazy. So here it was after that first coat, and I wasn't exactly sure if I liked it yet. So I put a little antique wax with some water. I just really watered it down. And the reason why I'm going to do this is because we're going to go inside those letters, and it's the wax, the dark wax, is going to lay down inside each letter, and it's going to make it pop and really stick out. It gets in those low places. And of course, I'm just wiping off the excess as I go. And the whole time that I'm doing this, I'm thinking, do I really like this? Is this something that I even want to show as a DIY? But everything can be fixed. So what I did was go back with my white Adirondack, which is Home Decor's white color of chalk paint, and I went on the high points, which I had painted blue before, and I really like this a lot better. Everything can be fixed with paint. So if you get in a spot where you think things are looking kind of funny and you don't really know about it, just give it a chance and just try maybe a different color of paint, and it's going to surprise you. I just about bet that. Then again, I started looking at it and I thought, I don't know about the white. You guys are going to think I'm nuts, but this is what I go through every week. I love you guys so much. I want to make it perfect so I can kind of give you the good tips and tell you go this way and don't do this. Don't mess up like I did. So I went back and I did the blue, and I had went around everything with that dark wax, that Waverly Antique wax, and I just kind of lightened it back up again. I distressed it in that blue color, which is that lighter blue, the glacier. And then I was finally happy with the project, and I was like, this is the way it needs to go. So I'm going to put a little bird's nest down in the bottom. I'm going to throw up a little curveball to you. And so I just took a little Spanish moss, put it down in the corner, put a little bit of glue, and stuck that baby down there. Now, I take great pride in the stuff that goes in my booth. I want it to be creative and different. I don't want it to look like everybody else's booth. I want to throw something in there to make people say, oh my goodness, that's kind of weird, but I kind of like it. You know what I mean? That's what stands out. So I made 3 little tiny eggs out of that clay. I just rolled little ball out of the clay, and I'm going to stick those in the nest for the little eggs, and it's so cute. Oh my gosh. I want for the people that come into my booth to look at this and go, oh my goodness, that person had great creativity. Who would have ever thought to put a bird's nest on a frame? But see, when I go shopping for things, that's what I look for. I like for people to come into my house and be like, oh my goodness, that's so strange, or that's so different. But I like it. It's a good different. It's not a cookie cutter deal. And I'm definitely not a cookie cutter deal. I'm a little different too. But that's okay, because we're all beautiful in our own special way, aren't we? If you haven't subscribed to my channel yet, I would love to have you as part of my family and have your support on YouTube. All you have to do is hit that little red button, and there's a bell beside it, and when you click that, YouTube's going to let you know when I come out with a video. And don't forget to give me a big thumbs up, because it really helps support my channel. And today I'm collabing with my good friend Emily. She's over at Farm Charm Chic. Now, Emily is the go-to when it comes to farmhouse. So if you're into farmhouse, and she does other styles too, but her main style, I think, is farmhouse, and she really shines. She's been on YouTube about as long as I have. She has a lot of subscribers, and that just goes to show that she is awesome. So when you're finished with my video, please go check her out and let her know that Crafty Kathy sent you. Now, we are cruising right into number 3, where we're going to make my favorite project of this whole video. I have this large plastic egg that I got from Dollar Tree last year, and I was thumbing through Pinterest, and I got the most amazing idea, and I thought, I can do this on a larger scale. So I'm going to use Home Decor's color called Oatmeal. It's kind of a khaki color, and I gave this egg 2 coats of that color. And when it dried, I went to my rice paper, and I chose this beautiful picture of a little boy hugging an Easter bunny. It is the most precious picture. This rice paper was really easy to work with. I just put down a little bit of the Mod Podge, and then it stuck. And I will leave in the description box below the lady's name that I got this from. But I also have other places where you can get this it's Decoupaged paper, or rice paper is what it's called. And I have some coupons. All of this will be in the description box. So if you want anything that you see in this video, it will be in the description box. Now, if you have anything that you feel like you're getting wrinkles, you can use the saran wrap just like you do with the napkins. It's the exact same process. And then I start from the middle part and go down and outward whenever I am putting my Mod Podge on. So I got out my air dry clay, And I am going to roll it around, put a little cornstarch on this little mold that I got. And this is just a cheap mold from Amazon. Okay, so what you do is you get your air dry clay and you push it down in whichever design that you want. And I use my brayer to help me, my little roller there. And then I just cut off any excess that's not the pattern itself. So once I figured out how I wanted my design to go, I just put a little bit of that Star-Bond glue on the back of each piece of this mold and just stuck it down in the pattern that I wanted. Then I took some of those gems that come from the Dollar Tree. I use these a lot and I really like them. They peel off in one long strip and they're so easy. And I'm trying to cover up where that egg clicks together in the middle because it's not ever going to open again. I actually put a little bit of glue inside the seal there so it wouldn't. And I just put these little gems all the way around this egg. And it's so beautiful, guys. Like, this camera doesn't even do this egg justice. It's really pretty. And it's from the Dollar Tree. Hello. So in the spirit of all things Dollar Tree, I figured that I'd use one of their candlesticks. I got my white Adirondack and I gave this candlestick 2 full coats. Then I took my little water bottle that's one of those misters and I misted the whole candlestick so it would be slightly wet. And then I used my antique wax all over this candlestick and then I wiped it off. Then I used my Debbie's DIY white wax and I put it all over that scrolly design. Now this is the next day when it was absolutely dry and molded and hard. And then I just used a little bit of water and antique wax, and this time I did mix it. I didn't just squirt it on. You can see it in the little palette thingy there. And at first I went kind of lightly. I used a distressing brush and just kind of distressed it on. And then when I saw how pretty it was, I started going a little bit darker with it, and meaning just using a little bit more of the wax instead of kind of wiping it off. And guys, man, oh my gosh, it's beautiful. And right here's where we get into the serious cuteness. I took some of that white Adirondack and put it on that distressing brush and went over that brown antique wax. And you want to talk about beautiful, guys. I mean, I want to keep this. It's so pretty, but I know that it will be sold on day one of going in that booth. And then I took this stinky old grass. I don't know if any of y'all have ever bought this grass from Dollar Tree, but mine stunk. It smelled like a rotten skunk went in there and just sprayed all over it. And then peed all over it. Oh, you talk about raunchy stink. It smelled like a wet dog. It was just, I don't even know what it smelled like. It was so bad. I can't describe it. But I put just a couple little sprigs on each side because we're going to set our egg in it. And I hope and pray to the good Lord that when somebody picks this egg up, they don't go, oh dear, what died on this egg? So one of my sweet subscribers sent me this rickrack, and it was last year. I don't even remember who sent me it. It's been so long. And it's so pretty, and I'm going to use this to wrap it around the very top part of my little candlestick just to give it a little something to make it a little extra. And guess what? I'm going to use one of my little Totally Dazzled pieces, and this is a little ribbon or a little bow, if you will, and we're going to put that on there, and this baby is done. I hope you guys like it. I forgot I did add one single solitaire little flower up at the top because I thought it just gave it a little something something, and now it's done. Then for my very last DIY, what I'm going to do is take two little sublimated prints that I have. I made them like maybe 3 by 5, 4 by 6, that size. And I painted 2 pieces of wood, just gave it 1 coat, and then I gave it 2 coats of polyacrylic. Now, we are going to do some sublimation on wood. This is the first time I have sublimated on wood myself, and I didn't read the directions and I made it a little bit too hot, but next time we're going to know the exact temperature. It still turned out fine, but next time we can go a little bit lower and get a better result. So I went 400 degrees for 60 seconds, and I was supposed to have went 385 degrees for about 20 seconds. And when I tried to pull the paper back up, it was a little hot and it stuck in one spot, but that's okay because I go for the vintage rustic look anyways, and it actually looked like it was supposed to be that way. But now we know, and you see me trying to get this piece of paper up where it stuck just a little, and it wasn't that big of a deal. Here's a quick view of the 2 pieces. The one is there beside that big egg, and it's the little bunny rabbit with the tuxedo on, and the other one is just like a French flower. So our very, very last DIY, look at this gorgeous vase that I got from Goodwill, and it is a French vase that had French writing on it. I thought it was so pretty, but I'm not really into that color, so we're going to put this in our booth, and it's just going to be to stage stuff. The very first thing that I did is gave this 1 coat of white Adirondack. Then I used the Waverly color called Lagoon, but first I took some wax and went all over the high points of this vase so that the paint would come off easily. And this was a beautiful color, this Lagoon, but it's not the same color of blue that I did in the rest of the vignette. And I don't know why I didn't think about that until after I was finished with it. Then to get the paint off, what I did was used my little Cricut tool, and you just kind of scrape and the paint very easily comes off. At this point, I just remember I was putting on the Debbie's DIY white wax all over it and thinking that maybe it would lighten this blue color up enough to where it would match the rest of the vignette, but of course it didn't. So after I put that on and then wiped it off, I added the florals that I had got from Walmart the other day, and they're gorgeous, by the way. And these florals looked so pretty with this color that I had chosen for this vase. But then I actually decided to change it to that same color that I had painted the picture frame from earlier, and it was a mixture of the Nantucket blue and the glacier blue that I used to get that same blue color that was the rest of the vignette. And this vase still turned out beautiful, but I really loved that first color. I just couldn't use it because it didn't match with the rest of my vignette. Hey, don't forget to go by my friend Emily's channel and make sure you subscribe to mine and hang around because the bloopers are coming up right now. Hey guys, it's Crafty Kathy, and since I have some new subscribers, I just wanted to jump on here and kind of explain my bloopers. A few months ago at Christmas, I just did this silly little skit being crazy, saying this is what my Tennessee family is like at Christmas, and everybody absolutely loved it. In particular, Bobby Joe, which is my cousin, and I really do have a cousin named Bobby Joe, and this is loosely based off of really the way my family is, which is kind of scary but funny at the same time. So it's just poking fun of being country, you know, and being like, I just like to make people laugh for a minute, you know. So anyways, that's what this is all about. So I don't want anybody to think that I'm totally out there. Not yet. But I love you guys. So let's see what Bobby Joe's got herself into this week.
Hey there, everybody. It's Crafty Bobby Joe. And I'm glad that you came to watch my channel. Yep, it's mine. Because Kathy said I could have it. And so just don't ask no questions. But guess what, y'all? I am a married woman now. I am hitched, honey. I caught my beau. But listen, my name was Bobby Joe Stillman, but now it's Bobby Joe Womble, and I think it just sounds so good. It just kind of rings off the tongue, don't it? I'm going to send y'all some of my honeymoon pictures because we're on honeymoon right now, so I'll be seeing y'all later. Love yous. Bye.
On February 14th, 2022, our friends and family in Tennessee gathered around to see Buford and Bobby Joe get married, and then we all saw them off to Hog Waller Mud Park, where they will spend their honeymoon. She says she's moving on up because they have bought lakefront property. Bobby Joe, really?
I am just so thankful that my whole family come out and got to spend a good day with me, see me get hitched, and then we all got together and had us a good old meal of Cheez-Its and Bean Weenies, my favorite. And it was so good. Oh, there ain't nothing like a Tennessee wedding.
And of course, Bobby Joe was a blushing bride. She saw everybody off and was grinning from cheek to cheek, and she just had a good old day. I think the wedding confused Buford a little bit because he came dressed as a pirate. But we did have a pretty good day seeing cousins we never get to see. Here's Jenny Joe and Ayla Joe. You know everybody in Tennessee's named Joe. And a few even spoke. Hey there, I am Bobby Joe's cousin Tammy Joe, and this here's my pet possum, Milton. And I just wanted to say congratulations, and I'm proud of you. Hush up there, Milton, or you'll be on the dinner table. You know we like polecat in Tennessee. This is cousin Sheila Joe, and she has such a squawky low voice you can never understand her anyway. She just kept saying she can't wait till it's her turn. And then Buford. He just sat in a corner all night and looked like he was traumatized or scared to death and like he just didn't know what he had done to himself. Goodness gracious.
Well, yous already know who I am. I'm Bobby Joe's mama, Aunt Ethel. Huh? Shut up, Gladys. I ain't saying nothing. I'll say what I want to say. So, yeah, I'll give 'em 6 months. Well, 6 weeks I was being real nice about it.
They're even going to show the wedding on the very first episode of that show that Bobby Joe's going to be on. The episode is called Are They Gonna Make It?